So with a Rugby Championship competition closer than it has ever been, the Springboks, they head to Argentina for their first of 2 matches up against the Pumas. But in this one, we are going to be predicting who we think will be in that South African lineup. Now, it is myself, a New Zealander, but I have brought in reinforcements for this match. None other than Johan, the Rugby Guru. How are you going, mate? A little bit closer to home for yourself with this South African lineup. Do you think they can get the job done?
It's going to be tough, man. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think here back in South Africa. We don't have a good track record going to Argentina. I think if there's any day that Argentina might think they will be able to beat us, this weekend will be it. But as a proud South African Springbok fan, I would probably say the Springboks will be able to pull it off. But just,
I'd hope that it is a close game. The Rugby Championship, like I mentioned, the whole way through, it just seems to be you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one. It's almost a bit of a pattern forming. So South Africa, if they can win this one in Argentina, certainly building big momentum, heading back home for the final round. But we will jump straight into it. Front row, who have you got as your 1, 2, and 3?
It was always going to be interesting to see how everybody here back in South Africa talk about we benching our best front row every time and starting off with our second best team. But I think they're going to work clever and still go with our first choice front rows. So obviously, I think Steven Kitshoff have been amazing. So he'll start along with Frans Malherbe. And in Aduka, obviously, we got the likes of Malcolm Marx. So that's definitely my front row pick for this weekend.
Alrighty, so my front row looks identical. They did go with a lot more of the solid front row in their second match up against Australia. Seemed more effective. Seemed like they put the Aussies on the back foot straight away. So yeah, Kitshoff, Marx, and Frans Malherbe. Bit of experience there between the three. An accurate line-out throw for Malcolm Marx as well is extremely handy to have. Plenty of pressure on the Pumas. But now we move on to the locks for myself. I've gone with what I feel will be the strongest combination. I have gone Ebenezer at number 4. That man was firing on all cylinders in that second test match. Pretty angry at times throughout it, but seemed like he was definitely fired up to go out there and put on a good performance. Then Ludiacha is my other man in the locking duo.
Right, yeah, so we've got a very similar lock combination. Etzebeth and Ludiacha for me as well. I think the duo have played all the test matches together so far this year. I'm not 100% sure, but as far as my knowledge go, they've been the lock pairing for the whole year, and they're doing a really good job. And I think they're going to go with consistency. Etzebeth is the man that's leading from the front, aggressive, and then Lude Jager with a bit of magic and also consistency there. So I just can't see them bringing anybody else into that lock combination at the moment.
Okay, so now speaking of changes, maybe the loose forward trio. Have we got any changes from what they went with in their last match up against the Wallabies? Who have you got scattered throughout there? I assume you still got Skipper at number 6, though.
Yeah, no, look, Kolisi had an absolutely fantastic game last time round, and I was quite surprised when they made Damian Willemse man of the match. I thought Kolisi had a really good game and should have probably been the man of the match for that game. So he starts at 6. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at 7. But before I say anything, I'll just say I think Franco Mostert will start again. Depending on whether Pieter-Steph du Toit will be fit and ready to play, because there were question marks around his fitness. So I think they will go with the familiar face of Franco Mostert, although I'm not a big fan of having a lock play on the loose forward. We know Peter also started as a lock. I just don't think Franco is the same caliber, but let's see. He didn't disappoint, so we'll have him at 7 again, and then obviously we'll have likes of Jasper Wiese at 8. He's been quite phenomenal, and he's definitely silenced his critics throughout the year. I'm a big Ian van Roos fan, and yeah, I thought he should have been there, but Jasper Wiese have done nothing wrong so far.
So for me, I've also got Siya Kolisi at number 6. Number 7, I did actually go back to Pieter-Steph du Toit. So I guess I'm hoping he's match fit. I'd love to see him head-to-head with Marcos Kremer, just because I feel like it's kind of that technical side of Pieter-Steph du Toit versus pretty much a ball of rage that is Marcos Kremer. So I feel like that will be an intriguing battle. Alongside that, I have gone with Jasper Wiese at number 8. decided I would give him another crack. I don't see Dwayne Vermeulen getting a start in this contest. I almost hardly see him coming off the bench either. It just seems like maybe he's slowly going further and further down that pecking order for number 8 or the Springboks. But now we look through at the 9 and 10 combo. I've made a big change here. I have gone a little bit more what I think they will do rather than what I would do. But I've got number 9, Faf de Klerk. I think that they may decide to bring him back in for that extra experience in the first match up against the Pumas. Played in Argentina before, but it's whether or not that works with the man who I've got on my outside, which is Damian Valimza at number 10. A whole new combo, really, when you think about it. We haven't really seen de Klerk and Valimza get a crack together, so maybe they would try it in Argentina. So what about you? Who have you got?
I've gone with consistency again there. I think Jaden has proven himself in the last couple of games. So starting with Jaden Hendricks at 9. I think we haven't, I don't think we've lost a test since he started at 9. So it's some kind of interesting stat. So they might just go with that, with Jaden at 9. I don't think Faf's form has been up to scratch lately. His box kicking hasn't been on target, and we're going to need that in Argentina because we know that the Argentinians are quite a good side under the high ball, and you need a guy that's going to be pinpointing those kicks up high for Mapimpi and the rest to chase. So Hendricks at 9, and then obvious choice at 10, Valimza. Not my pick, but due to injury and some naughty stuff from the rest of the squad, we only have one specialist. Well, it's not even a specialist fly-off, but we're going to go with Valimza because the other choice is Frans Steyn, and I don't think they'll risk having Frans at 10 just yet, or Willie Leroux for that matter. So, yeah, Jaden Hendricks and Valimza at 10 it is then.
Alrighty, so now we move on to the centres. Now, I don't believe you'll have any changes here between these two. Unfortunately, with that Lukanyuam injury, we were actually talking about it a few weeks ago, myself and Rugby Itch. We said the only way that centre combo changes is if there's an injury. And the very next week, Lukanyuam got injured. So we might have jinxed that slightly for the Springboks in that midfield combo. But have you gone identical to what they went with in the game up against the Wallabies?
Alec Dialendi and Jesse Creel will probably slot in at the centre combination again. I'm not a big Jesse Creel fan. I do believe that we've got some really quality centres out there that's not in the squad. But, I mean, he didn't do anything wrong last week. And I guess a bit of his form that has been lacking is the fact that he's playing in Japan and he's been playing out of position. So I think they're going to back it because the only alternative at this stage is bringing in Frans Steyn or the likes of Andre Esterhuizen. And for me personally, Andre is a great club player. He hasn't proven himself on the international level just yet. And to go and throw him into the Argentinian clash is just going to be suicidal anyway.
And definitely because he does prefer 12, doesn't he, compared to 13. So I guess playing a little bit out of position may cause even more of a reshuffle / little bit of disruption in that midfield for the South Africans. Now we move on, though, to the back 3. Now, these positions, they could be scoring plenty of tries. We've seen it last week or the week prior with Makazole Mapimpi doing very nicely. That is why I have decided to keep him as my number 11. I don't think there's any way to take him out unless there was some sort of injury lurking there for Mapimpi. He played very well. It was Marika Korombeti really having those back and forth encounters throughout both of the test matches. Then out on the other wing, I felt he did brilliantly on debut, scoring himself the try. I've given Cannon Moody another crack as my right winger. And then at number 15, because of the other injuries, and as you mentioned, the naughty business that was happening for Elton Yankees, it means that they did have one less fly half. So Damian Valimza takes that fly half spot for me, and Willie Leroux is there as my number 15.
I think we've got it the same there. So Mapimpi and Cannon Moody on the wings with Willie at fullback. I don't think there's any other choices really because we've got Cheslin Colby out and Corsi is out. Coaches don't want to pick some of the informed wingers in South Africa for whatever the reason might be. And then we also got Kurtley Arends out suspended. So and to play Warwick Galant on the wing as they did with Jesse Creel, I think it's injustice to their talent. I don't think you go and play a fullback on the wing or a centre on the wing anyway. So Cannon Moody, specialist winger, he can slot in there easily. Had a great debut, but Pimpy obviously it's been on and off, on fire, then low, then a little bit better, and then hopefully this weekend he's going to have a massive game again. And then obviously, Billy, you don't know which one is going to show up. There's always that 50-50 chance of him buggering up the game or just having that moment of magic and winning everything for us on the day. But I mean, that's what we got, and that's what the hand that dealt us. So let's go with that.
Righty, so now the benches. This is probably the trickiest part to predict because it's whether or not they stick with 5-3 like they've been doing for more of the Rugby Championship, or whether they go back to those roots of going 6-2 split, chucking in that extra forward. So front row replacements for yourself, who have you got in there?
It's always interesting when it comes to the front row replacements. I tend to have a look what happens throughout the week and who the press are talking to. So I've noticed that the press talking a lot to Oxnashire. So I'm guessing that he'll probably be one of the front row replacements. And then Dion Fourie will obviously slot in as a reserve hooker because of the injury to Bonambi and the dipper form in Dweba. So Oxnashire, Dion Fourie, and then it's either going to be Trevor Nyakane or Vincent Koch, either one of the two. I think they will go with Trevor on the bench for whatever reasons they might be. But yeah, Trevor, Dion Fourie, and Ox.
I've got one change compared to yourself. I have stuck with Dion Fourie as the number 16. Yeah, unfortunately for Joseph Dweba, hasn't really lit the world on fire when it comes to his form at the moment at hooker. I think if you give him another season in either the URC or somewhere around the world, I think he will start to pick it up again because normally he can be very dangerous in those competitions. It's just as soon as he puts on the green and gold, it just doesn't quite seem to translate to the international stage. Oxnashire, my number 17, and then number 18, I have gone Vincent Koch. I decided I would give him the crack as the last man, although normally the thing that I enjoy the most is when it's Kitsoff and Koch coming off the bench as the replacement prop. So maybe if Kitsoff is starting, does that mean that they'll completely get rid of Vincent Koch? Or does it mean that maybe he gets to join his friend later on in the contest? But now we move on. For me, I have gone with the 5-3 split, so I've only got the two replacement for the lock and the loose forward. I have got number 19, Franco Mostert. So I didn't have him in the starting lineup, but I have got him there as my replacement lock. And then number 20, I have gone with Kwagga Smith. He's had such a great impact off the bench for the Springboks, scoring twice in, about 3 or 4 minutes throughout one of the matches of the Rugby Championship. So I decided, got to give him another crack off of the bench.
Yeah, so only change for me, then Kwagga will be there. And obviously, I don't know if Peter Steph the Toy is going to be fit again, like I mentioned before. So a lot depends on that. But rumors back here in South Africa has had it that Elrich Low will be on the bench. So for me, my two other forward replacements will be Kwagga Smith and Elrich Low. We need a extra line-out jumper, and talks are that he can do the line-out jumps as well as Elrich Low. And it's just good to see some of the youngsters been given an opportunity at such a high level as well. So it will be interesting to see what he can do off the bench, because so far it's been quite good when he did come on for the box.
So maybe a little bit of a change there in the locking department. So that would mean, oh no, you've got all the regular locks, don't you? Except you have got Mostert as your starting 7 rather than in the locking duo for that one. But now we move on to the back replacements. Now, these are some big positions right now because they've had those injuries like we mentioned. They've had to probably have a little bit of a change of who they would have considered having. Once again, Yankees now no longer in the running. So who have you got? It's 21, 22, and number 23. Close out your side.
Well, there's not a lot of choices there left, you know. Like I said earlier, Andre Esterhuizen for me is a very great club player at the moment, but haven't delivered at the international scene. So there's no place for him in my side. I'll go with Faf de Klerk again, and then also with Frans Steyn, and then Warwick Geland. I think Warwick Geland have had a great URC season, and if you've been used in the right position, which is fullback, I do believe that he will be invaluable for the Springboks at some stage. But yeah, he will probably go and cover that wing or fullback when he comes on with Frans Steyn, either 12 or 10. You never know. So and then Faf de Klerk at 9, which can also play fly off. Interesting enough.
We may see a bit of a right reshuffle in that second 40 once they do start unleashing the bench in this one. For me, similar to yourself, I have got Frans Steyn there as my number 22. I've got Wada Kalant at number 23, but number 21, I feel like I'm a little bit biased towards this individual. I just love watching him play, and that is Kobus Reinach. I've given him another opportunity. Coming back from his injury, he's just so quick, and if he gets open space, he's scoring 9 times out of 10 with that extra bit of pace. So I decided I'll give him another chance. I enjoy that attacking style of running rugby that he has got, and I think it's a nice little balance in with whoever it is in the starting lineup, whether that is Hendrickse or whether it is Faf de Klerk. Does get himself the start, but nonetheless, I guess relatively similar for our two sides.
Yeah.
Only a few changes spread throughout them, but now we just have to wait to see exactly who the Springboks will be going with. But thank you very much for coming on the channel, mate. Anyone who doesn't know, this is the Rugby Guru. Be sure to check out his link in the description. We have actually, you were the first collaboration we did on the channel, a Rugby Challenge 4 bingo way back in the day. Maybe we've got to bring that one back, perhaps for a part 3. I think we've actually done one since then. I just held up 4 fingers. That didn't quite work, did it? But nonetheless, we do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next one.